Okay, so we have a old DPS player here, starting off on Mcree. Next time over here. So just a very quick ending team, taking a very aggressive defensive position. Hog is feeding. Assuming you guys hear slash see him. See, I don't know what she's doing. Just try to keep Sigma alive. Go and Mcree are at least in a good position. But for you guys, you're starting off on high ground. That's fine. Got a Reinhardt Roadhog, which is fine. Roadhog for lots of shield break. You can do a lot of damage. Genji to dive. I'm not a fan of the Mercy Lucio comp. Um, Mainly because essentially don't have a main healer with this combination. Mercy's good, but in order for Mercy to get value, she should probably be pocketing a DPS. So you Genji, basically damage boosting you, making sure she enables you guys to do as much as you can. Lucio is fine, provided that there is a main healer of some kind, like an Ana or Moira, just as something to keep your tanks alive. But something to be wary of that you're probably not going to be receiving that much healing because Lucio and Mercy are going to be focused on keeping your Reinhardt alive, or they should be at least, um, because there's just not a lot of healing and the pure numbers of it. Um, So with Mcree here in this comp, you basically have two ways you can play. You can play a ranged poke. So you set up on high ground up here like you're doing, and you just start spamming shots at the enemy team. Match up with your Reinhardt and play as kind of like a brawl. You take soft flanks like this, stun the Sigma, and basically just act as a support Reinhardt, stunning and putting damage, uh, helping him secure kills. See this guy.
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming. Escort.
Yeah, respect that Widow.
One shot. One kill.
So always be careful peeking the same corner. So you already peeked out here once, and she tagged you. Um, because you survived, because you went back, a good widow is going to be paying attention to this door again. So you want to be very careful about double peeking cover like this because they're going to be expecting it. Yeah, see, he knows you're there. Yeah, that's just a duel you didn't want to take because she had sights on you. She was in position. You could not see her. You had to peek to see her and react, whereas she could just react to your position. Definitely don't third peek this corner. Oh. I guess their Widow's dead, so it's... Oh, your team's dead. You're red, that's gonna mess with me all game.
Make yourselves useful.
Turn.
Move the payload.
Wow, sound is low. Okay.
Enemy seen. Everything can be hacked. And
Alright, so... As Sombra, again, you are kind of acting like a support DPS, especially in a brawl comp, so... yeah, going up there to pressure the Widow is good. Once Widow's off high ground, you should be focusing on hacking their tanks and trying to do as much damage as you can to their tank line. So you can build up EMP quickly. If you are confident in your mechanics, you can try and solo do some of the squishies in the back, but you have to secure that kill to get value. You absolutely have to. You can't just poke at range and hope for the best. You just don't have the mobility that Tracer does to be that annoying in the backline. Hack the hog. Well, that's your hog that's ulting.
much better. They've wasted.
Hack off.
Much better.
Okay, so you had hack off cooldown. You definitely could have stopped that Mercy from rezzing as soon as she went in. As soon as she goes in here, you know she's looking for that res, right? So just hang out, wait till she starts her res. You can hack her out of it before she eats it, and then kill her. easy, right? And their Widow doesn't get rezzed.
Translocating.
In fact, the Roadhog there instead. Roadhog would be the target, so Roadhog. So in that case, Widow's low. The only real escape she has is her grapple, which she just used to get up there. So grapple I think has like a 12 or 13-second cooldown, so she won't have it back yet. So she has no escapes from your team. So you definitely should have hacked the Roadhog there to prevent him from using hook or take a breather. Hook so he can't one shot one of your team, and take a breather. He loses his sustain and he basically dies. Roadhog is a great hack target because as soon as Roadhog gets hacked, he's dead because he has shield, no protection, no one-shot potential. He is useless if he gets hacked.
Here I am. Be right back.
So whenever you do one of those teleport translocator things, always a good idea to go invisible before teleport, right? So, a competent enemy, like if that Orisa was half paying attention, she probably would have seen translocator go up there. But if you were invisible, you're a lot harder to hit. Spam in your general direction, but you're not as likely to get killed. Teleport things. Again, just a little slow on the reaction time. So with Sombra here, you're basically trying to play Sombra as a tracer. Your best bet with Sombra is to try and play her, as I said, like a support DPS, right? So you want to hack targets that your team can follow up on. So, you want to focus on their front line. So, yeah, absolutely. Get the high ground, go behind them, try and be annoying, but look for those hacks on targets that your team is engaging. So, their Roadhog is a good option. Their Orisa is a good option. Their Reaper is a good option. Targets that when you hack, they lose their escapes, they lose their abilities to stay alive. So your team is there and your team can follow up on those hacks. Otherwise, you're just not getting a whole lot of value out of your hack. Unless, of course, you secure those kills. But either way, you still want to help your team as much as you can. You can hack the Reaper. Nice.
This is not your time.
Be careful if you just have hacks sitting up like that, because it's standing still target. I also haven't seen you hack a health pack once. Never underestimate the power of hacking a health pack, because you not only give your team a fast source of healing, especially when you have a Genji, but you deny the enemy team healing. So on this side of the map, you could hack this Mega, like this Mega back here. And basically that gives Genji two really good options to retreat to, and it denies the enemy team the sources of healing, right? So it's never underestimate the power of denying enemy resources. Also, Sombra at that range doesn't do a lot of damage. Need to get a little closer. Shooting and ulting Mercy is pretty difficult. She moves pretty quick. Zarya's a good target. Okay. So now you're down your main tank. No. So I'll just back and watch. So your Reinhardt dies. Your Reinhardt dies, and they are rezzing their rezzing your Reinhardt? Trying to? Yes, your Mercy's dead. So look at what you're seeing here, right? You've got two enemies, and CO on cart. So this isn't a great EMP, mainly because you have no gear to follow up on it.
Translocating. Apagando las luces.
So it was a great hack. Like you hit 3 people, but it's here to follow up on you. It's the you. CO Hog is just coming around the corner, so he might be able to get the one-shot hook off Reaper. Maybe, assuming he lands it. But hold EMP for next team fight, right? EMP is one of those team fight winning abilities. The caveat being that you need um, team to follow up on it, right? Same thing with Shatter or Grav. Great ultimate, huge team fight win potential, provided you have people to help you follow up on it, right? Summer doesn't do a whole lot of damage. EMP doesn't last all that long. You certainly don't do enough damage to secure kills, right? You might be able to get one, like maybe the Orisa if you just focus headshots, or the Zarya because Zarya's actually trying to look at you. Um, I guess Genji's here. I didn't see this Genji, but either way, you're still fighting, or I guess it's a 3v3 almost. Okay, maybe it wasn't bad. I didn't see that Genji back there. I just saw you and Lucio. Still is a. I think this was kind of a lucky one that you're just kind of lucky that you had the Genji there and that your Roadhog was almost back. I definitely would have waited until your Reinhardt respawn. And got back, right? The rest of your team, you want as many people as possible. I mean, your Genji's at 1 health too, so whether or not he can follow up on this, I really hope he doesn't blade because he's just gonna die. Yeah. Yeah, so you used EMP and you didn't secure a single kill just because you have no hack. For whatever reason, I don't think Hug used hook at all, but that's not you. You got no value out of your EMP. Lucio booped the Reaper out of your Roadhog's hook. That's unlucky. Mcree, like the switch. Mcree is really strong right now.
Get this doggy moving.
Nice kill. Go get healing. Go get healing. Low health. Yep. Don't be afraid to fan the hammer. I know fan the hammer gets a bad rap, especially when you stun, but it's an easy way to secure kills. Zarya wasted grab, which is nice. Keep focusing on Orisa. Don't worry about the Mercy. An ulting Mercy is really hard to hit. You almost got the kill on the Orisa there. And I just got melted by a high charge Zarya. I say they wasted grab, but they still won that fight. Oh, I stand corrected. Your Lucio should have come to get you. Your Reinhardt's just burning his shield for no reason. So, when you see shit like that, when you see Reinhardt standing on payload hard shielding, and then YOLO charge right into the enemy's backline, don't trust your Reinhardt because your Reinhardt's a bit of an idiot. Sorry, Reinhardt, but you can't do that, man. Like, he's hard shielding nothing, he's wasting his shield, and he's YOLO charging right into their backline. So he's lucky he got a pin there, and if he survives this again, he is very lucky that the enemy team is not grenaded, or maybe half of them are respawning or something. But yeah, I'd be careful about trusting your Reinhardt. Definitely don't trust his shield. And basically what that means is don't use his shield as your primary cover. I would take extra care to make sure you are playing around some kind of natural cover. You should always do that regardless, but headshots, man, headshots. Standing still targets, right? Orisa has a massive head hitbox, so when you get that stun, if you're not going for Fan the Hammer, you have to make sure you hit those headshots, or you are losing out on a lot of DPS. You were losing out on basically an instant kill. So, you had roll off cooldown, so you couldn't really do Fan the Hammer, roll Fan the Hammer, but she was low health. When she's stunned like that, just take the extra quarter second to look up and hit her head. You're aiming center of mass right now, so just look up a little bit and make sure you land those headshots on the stunned target. You become so much scarier and so much more of a threat when you do that. Good job turning to peel for your mercy. Lucio wasted beat. Alright, let's see how you use High Noon. Going for the high ground, I like it. Okay, so when you're using High Noon, become a very, very easy target, right? So you have to think about what abilities they have to counter you, right? So looking at their team comp, your biggest threat would be Orisa's shield, basically, and her pull, because she can pull you off the high ground, she can put you out of position if she reacts quick enough. Their Mcree as well. Assuming he lands his headshots, can actually kill you before you get any kills, depending on how low health they are when you ult. Reaper can teleport behind you and use his escape to get out of danger. Zarya has bubble. Moira has fade. If she's smart with it, she can time it such that she doesn't die. So there's a couple of abilities that you might want to wait are off cooldown before you ult, mainly Reaper's Wraith, Moira's Fade, and Zarya's Bubbles. Because the less time you spend in High Noon, the better, right? The longer you spend in it, the more time the enemy team has to focus you down. You are just a standing still target, very easy to hit. Really, this goes for any hero you're playing. You have to be wary of any counter abilities that they might have that you need to outlast. You know, if they had a Roadhog, you'd have to make sure he doesn't have Hook. If they had an Ana, you'd have to make sure she doesn't have Sleep. Because again, both those abilities are very easy to hit on an ulting Mcree, and they pull you out of your ultimate. Yes, you heard them Reaper there and didn't really turn to look at him. And there's another thing to mention as Mcree, is Mcree, one of the reasons that Mcree is kind of considered a brawl hero now, or a pseudo-brawl hero, is because of his stun, right? And because of how strong Reinhardt is, and just because of the sheer amount of damage that he can do with Stun Fan the Hammer. So, when the enemy team has guys like Reaper, Roadhog, those ultimates that they have, you can use your stun to stun them out of those ultimates, just like Reaper, right? So one of those things that you're probably going to have to start doing is start ult tracking the enemy DPS, and when you think Reaper has ult, that might be a time you want to play a little closer to your tanks, a little closer to the bulk of your team, because you know Reaper's going to go on high ground somewhere, and he's going to drop down and ult, right? So by you playing with your tanks, you become, or with the bulk of your team, you become a threat to that Reaper, right? So the Reaper's not going to want to drop in on your team, and that Reaper's going to have to get a little more creative, and you just kind of force him to delay his ultimate, and if he's stupid enough to just drop in on top of you, stun him out of his ultimate. So, and when you think he has ultimate too, you should avoid using your stun on anything else other than that Reaper, just because as soon as you do use your stun, he knows he has, 6 seconds, 7 seconds to get somewhere, drop down, and kill your entire team. It was a good High Noon, right? You zone them out, you got to kill. So your entire team's dead, just back up. Yep. Don't, yeah, you should have... Oh! Oh, no. When your entire team's dead like that, don't even poke, right? because again, the enemy team can just chase you down. You're one person. They have enough mobility there. They have enough range. They have pull. Like, they can just kill you, right? A better coordinated team would have killed you before you even got to the stairs. Again, your Reinhardt just YOLO charged in and died. Reinhardt, what are you doing, buddy? Damage boosted Mcree. Be very respectful of that. And he's just going for a res in the middle of the road. Yeah. I'm going to say there what I said before. Ulting Mercies are incredibly difficult to hit. Reaper is definitely the easier target. Reaper was the target that was pressuring your Roadhog. Mercy can do a little bit of damage with her gun, but honestly, it's not too much. So definitely focus on the bigger threat there, which was the Reaper, which was burning down your Roadhog. Good stun. Kill this Mercy. She's way out of position. You can also stun Reaper out of his teleport. Good stun on the Reinhardt. We'll get high ground. Team can stay cart. So here, you should be going to get this high ground, right? Your team had won the fight. Your team was pushing cart. You don't need to be there. Just walk through here, walk upstairs, and up here, right? You're Mcree. You love high ground. You are so much more of a threat laying up here, right? And you have high noon. So all of a sudden, team's pushing cart, right? And you get up here and you pop high noon. They're not even going to want to come out here and touch cart, right? Just zone them all out. Right here, when you pop high noon, they have all kinds of cover that they can use. And they can still be contesting cart. Any hit scan hero, Free, Ash, Soldier, whoever, high ground, high ground, high ground. Always take the high ground. Never underestimate the power of the high ground. So you're kind of lucky there. The Reinhardt could have shattered you instead. He could have walked forward a little bit and aimed to shatter at you, and taken out his biggest threat. His shatter, knocks you out of your ultimate. Alright, so that was a good first round. The biggest things I noticed, your Sombra play, you were focused on too much on trying to be an assassin and not playing like the support DPS. As Sombra, as I was explaining earlier, you want to focus your hacks on the targets that your team is coordinating against, right? Hack their tank line, hack their front line. That's how you provide the most value as Sombra to your team. Sombra's ult, as I explained earlier, you want to make sure you have your team there to follow up with you. Your Mcree is okay. Again, don't be afraid to fan the hammer, right? Stun, fan the hammer. I know a lot of people hate that and they're gonna get flamed for it, but it's such an easy way to secure kills. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to fan the hammer into shields as well. It's just a much higher DPS and it's very easy to hit a shield and you're likely to hit all your shots against a shield. So, one thing too with Mcree, I noticed a couple times you're pretty good about it, but there were a couple times where you're just kind of playing out in the open. And as I was explaining with your Reinhardt earlier, your Reinhardt is he's definitely a low gold Reinhardt. So what you need to be doing is playing around cover as much as possible. So find yourself a corner, some place of hard cover like this. Peek and shoot, and then if you're ever pressured, you can just back behind here, and you are completely protected from any kind of fire. Be careful about double peeking the same corner. So, because they can they'll start to predict that and just shoot you. Never underestimate the power of high ground. Alright, so let's take a look at this as well. So your team is playing very, very aggressive. Your Genji's back. Your Genji's back there, which is fine. Or Genji's a flanker. Um, your Reinhardt is once again hard shielding in the middle of nowhere. Your Reinhardt should be holding this corner. Your Roadhog has nowhere to run. Right, if he wants to be on the flank, he should be in this room here, hiding, waiting, so he can pounce out and assassinate a squishy, and then have somewhere to retreat to. Your Roadhog is feeding. Your Baptiste is on the low ground, looking at nothing. You're on an aggressive high ground position, so you're not in a terrible spot. You're a little closer to the main fight. You've got a little bit of cover on either side of you. You've got sight lines to their team. You just have to be careful being this far forward, um, especially with. Actually, it's not terrible where you're at, but the rest of your team just in bad position. So you need to be prepared to support your team in any way, especially your Reinhardt, right? If they pressure your Reinhardt at all, you need to be ready to drop down and stun whoever's ever pressuring them, and tell your Ryan to back the fuck up, right? Because he is standing out here in the middle of nowhere. His shield's going to get melted, and he is going to die, and probably your Mercy as well, because your Mercy is just trying to pocket him. Actually, now that you have a Baptiste, your Mercy should be pocketing you, right? Your Mercy should be up here, damage boosting you, right? Because Baptiste has more healing than Mercy. Baptiste can keep Reinhardt alive, probably, assuming that your Reinhardt's smart enough to back up a little bit around. A damage boosted Mcree is terrifying, right? At this point, I'd be asking Mercy, "Hey, Mercy, can you damage boost me off the start? Reinhardt doesn't need healing right now. If you damage boost me, I can build my ult quicker." All this kind of shit, because especially they have a Roadhog. Roadhog is just a feed at these ranks. Just keep popping shots into that Roadhog. As soon as he peeks, make him pay for it. You switch to D.Va. Watch that Reaper. It's coming for you. Yep. So again, that's just very aggressive positioning by you and your entire team. It was very easy for the enemy team to get to you guys. You should have been playing a little bit further back. If your Reinhardt wanted to play low ground, you hug corner. You should still have been on high ground, so that was okay. But yeah. So, all right. So the other thing there too, your entire team was dead, right? Reinhardt dropped in for some reason. At that point, you guys should just back up, hang out here or something. Wait till you have a full regroup. Have time. You might be able to drop down and contest before your team is, but just wait, right? Wait until you get a full. Wait until there's 6 of you, right? And then you guys can drop down and contest cards. Main reason, because this is right now a 2v6 essentially, or a 3v6, because you have Baptiste with you. You're not going to win that fight, right? You're not. So wait until you have a full regroup. Wait until you can engage as a team. Reaper just teleported and deleted you. That's kind of what Reaper does. Is he 1 hits, 2 hits things. However, as Mcree, you are a soft counter to Reaper because you have stun, because you have mid-range damage, whereas Reaper doesn't. So that's one of those situations where stun 2 headshots or stun fan the hammer can kill Reaper. So it is just dependent on you listening to audio cues, hearing that Reaper teleported up there, timing your stun. Good Reapers are going to be able to kind of bait out your stun and shift away, right? Or not shift. It's not shift on console, but use their wraith form to get away. So bait out your stun, and then your biggest threat to him is gone. He can. So basically, listen for audio cues and don't be afraid of stun fan the hammer if you can't hit those headshots.
This life's never uneventful.
So your team should be backing up now because you're in a weird stagger thing. Yeah, your Mercy's throwing. Not throwing, but that's just not a good rest for her to go for. She's not safe, doesn't have protection. Sucked by your hog. So when Hog's ulting like that, that's another time you want to help him, protect him, because he's a very easy target. There's not much you can do from there, but you kind of want to be mindful, look who's pressuring him, and help him secure kills, things like that. So I can see what you're doing here. You almost have high noon. What I would be doing instead is just stay here and poke until you get that last like 6%, and then poke out here at ult, because what's going to happen if you start poking here, shooting at the enemy team, they're going to know you're here, and I'm guessing you're going to try to ult from here. So because they know you're here, they're going to be watching for you, and it's going to be harder for you to get your ult off. So if you stay here, kind of poke and do some damage, get your ultimate, and then come over here and hide and wait until they re-engage, and then pop out an ult, you're going to kind of surprise them from behind. They're not going to know that you're there, so they might assume that you're there, but it'll just one of those little things that's going to help you kind of keep the element of surprise. Good kill on the Moira. Another thing you can do is ask for window. Heal through Baptiste's window is terrifying, right? Because window doubles all damage, so um, window is not that impactful of an ultimate, but when paired up with like Soldier Visor or Mcree ult or something like that, yeah, it is absolute terrifying. But so that was kind of a reactive flashbang there. Like, you felt yourself getting pressured. It took you a little bit to hear the sound cues and see the damage coming in, but you did react, and you flicked and stunned. Basically, out of force of habit, you have to manage your cooldown. Stun is your biggest threat, so you need to get value out of it. At higher levels, as soon as the enemy team is going to hear you use that stun, their Junkrat's going to concussion mine into you, and he's going to pressure you, so that there is nothing you can do if you get up in his face other than just try and kill him. But without your stun, you lose your biggest threat, and it's just going to make you a dive target. So try to avoid that flick panic stun. I understand, like, in the middle of the team fight, you're nervous, you're scared, especially when you get pressured and you're on low health like this. It happens, right? Those panic situations happen, but it's one of those mistakes that you need to on minimizing. So I don't like that high noon for one reason. That reason is your health. So when you popped that ult, you had 60 health. So basically, if someone had sneezed on you, you would have died and wasted your ult. But thankfully, the enemy team was not paying attention, doesn't have awareness, especially because they now have a diva. A diva is a big threat to you because she can just fly into you, defense matrix, and shoot and kill you. Right? She can actually use fly into you, shoot micro missiles and defense matrix, and kill you before you get your shots off. Or if she times it properly, she can eat all your shots. Or even if she doesn't eat all your shots, she will just come through and absorb all 6 of your shots, and you will just demech her. And which isn't a terrible use of high noon in all honesty, but you will miss out on any kills that you have. So once again, because you are basically a standing still target with Mcree, whenever you do ult, make sure you have supports. You also want to be at full health too. That was a risky high noon because, again, if anyone had, like I said, so much as look at you, would have died. But big bomb by the diva.
It ain't my time.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
You've got some downtime here, so once again, go for high ground. You're kind of chilling on low ground, not doing anything. You're just standing there taking pot shots. Walk into spawn, walk up the stairs, walk on high ground, get on platform, whatever. But take this high ground, right? Um, such a much bigger threat on high ground, right? They do have a diva, they do have a reaper, they do have a Junkrat. All three of those characters have mobility, so they will be able to pressure you off high ground. But at least when you are on high ground, they are using resources. You know, Diva is forced to jump up and dive you. Reaper uses his teleport to get to you. Junkrat has to use at least one concussion mine to get to you. They are using resources just to get to you and just to pressure you, right? So by being on high ground, just by you being there, you are forcing the enemy team to take resources away from the rest of your team and focus on you. You are making space for your team by being on high ground. You are a threat on high ground. And if they don't turn and deal with you on high ground, you just have a much better angle to take shots at, right? So right here, when you're shooting, basically all you can see is the diva, right? Get on high ground, all of a sudden you can see the diva and the Moira, right? And if they had a Reinhardt right here, and you were on low ground, all you could see is his shield. High ground, and you can see above and over his shield and shoot beyond his shield, right? So high ground, high ground, high ground. Always take the high ground. Especially when you have downtime like this. You know, you're not doing much here. I guess you're taking poke to build ult, but and now use window. Yep. Flash found the hammer, man. Flash found the hammer. You could have saved your mercy there. Whoa, what was that? Is that just some weird lag? I haven't seen you use fan the hammer once. Right? Flash fan the hammer, man. Reaper, you can hear Reaper. Yeah. Again, I play Mcree. I know that you have that. Oh, so close. Right idea. Just a little bit earlier, a little bit faster on that reaction time. You could have saved your mercy. Yeah, just back away right now. Wait for your team to re-engage. Go get high ground. 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 You can stun Reinhardt out of his ultimate. So when you saw him walk up there on the flank, you know, it was pretty obvious he was trying to go for a flank shatter. Even if you hear hammer with the quick enough reaction time. Oh, are you gonna survive? Yeah. Use window, use window. Nice. Okay. So, you died there just because you were in a not great position. Say this again: high ground, high ground, high ground, right? And then, you know, your Baptiste used window, so you wanted to put some pressure on them through window, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Then you just got like ulted on by a Moira and able to get to the Baptiste immortality field, but you were standing right here, right? Right out in the open. Again, you're using window, which I understand, but high ground, high ground, high ground, or try to play around cover, play around a corner. So, you know, shooting through window, you could have been back here and at least had this little bit of cover, right? And you're just a little bit harder to hit. Probably still would have died to the Moira ults, but no matter what position you're in, try to find cover. Try to play through doorways. Try to play around a corner. Something, right? Never be caught standing out in the open, or avoid this as much as possible, right? So even when you're on high ground, right, you can poke and play out here, but you need to back up, roll, player on cover. Always find some cover.
Back in the saddle again.
Heroes never die. For a price.
The payload is approaching its destination.
At this point, just go a stall hero like Mei or somebody with mobility like Tracer. Amazing, your Mercy got the res off. It's unlucky, you died instantly to Tyre. That's just unlucky. Not much you could have done there.
Round 2 complete.
Alright, so
Let's start over.
biggest things, man. Positioning. High ground. Get on the high ground. Find that high ground. Take that high ground. Be a threat, be a danger. Take that space. Control that space. Make the enemy team have to deal with you. Or punish them for not dealing with you. A high ground is so powerful in Overwatch. You know, always take the high ground. Always, always, always. On every single map, if you have the opportunity to take the high ground, take the high ground. Control the high ground. Right? Especially when you're playing a hit scan character. You just become so much of a bigger threat on high ground. You know, if you have your entire team with you, it's even better
This ain't gonna dispense it.
because now the enemy team is forced to go and take an entire team fight on the high ground,
Attack commences
which means that
in
they need to
30
find a
seconds.
way onto said high ground or dive on you guys, right? As a team, if you guys take high ground, you are so much more effective. You are a much bigger threat. You control more space. You contest more space. You put so much more pressure on the enemy team. Second part of it is try to avoid standing out in the open, right?
5, 4,
Play around cover.
3,
Have some kind
2,
of
1.
security so that when you get threatened, when you are in danger, you can just retreat behind cover. You can get to safety, avoid enemy line of sight, and make sure that they cannot damage or pressure you anymore, and have a safe retreat to your team to get healed. Alright. So now you're also running a Mercy Moira. At this point, their Mercy should realize that Moira is more than enough to keep your tanks alive, and so her priority should be damage boosting you, right? Moira Mercy in this case is the off healer. So again, I would be asking Mercy, "Hey Mercy, can you damage boost me? Moira can keep our tanks alive. Um, focus on damage boosting me, right? A damage boosted Mcree, damage boosted Ashe, damage boosted Genji, absolutely terrifying, right?
Attack commences. Escort the payload.
Rest in
Good kill. Zarya's low. Yep, nice, nice. Good target priority. Look at that, high ground, man, high ground.
You have failed your team.
Don't be afraid to ask for healing when you're like this. You know, be polite about it. Hey, Mercy, can I get a touch-up? Right? Playing a little cheeky, I like it.
You have failed your team.
Yeah, look at that. Stun fan the hammer, easy kill.
10 seconds.
Nice kill on the Mercy.
Just head for the hills.
Stun fan the hammer, man. Would have killed him. He would have survived. He would have had high noon. You would be able to ult from behind him.
I've got unfinished business.
Go behind him again. Alright. I was lucky. Nice. Oh, good stun. Nice high noon. You're welcome for the carry, right? Oh! I mean, their Moira threw away their ult there, but damn. High noon, stun Mercy out of a res, killed Moira out of her ultimate. Goddamn right you're carrying that fight. Stun Reaper out of his ultimate. Look at you go, man. Nicely done. The enemy team's feeding at this point. So, cases like that, again, as I said earlier, don't be afraid to fan the hammer into a shield. Even at that medium range like that, because fan the hammers has such a big spread, shields are so big, you're likely to hit all 6 shots. So Fan the Hammer just does so much more quick burst damage that you can fan the hammer into a shield, and it just helps break the shield a little bit faster. Probably could have stunned the Reinhardt there instead of rolled, but you guys managed to survive it. Got that kill on the Mercy. Fan the hammer or headshots, man. Fan the hammer or headshots. High ground, high ground, high ground. There's a bit of a lull now. Go get the stairs. Right, there's a bit of a lull. You've got Moira on cart. I guess, yeah, you're in overtime. You want to stay on cart. I can understand that, but again, that's one of those things in team chat where it's like, hey, Moira, stay on cart. I'm going to get high ground. Right? And if your team flames you for stepping away from cart to go take high ground, don't listen to your team. They're idiots, right? Again, as I said, you are so much more of a threat on high ground than you are anything else. And honestly, up here you could still touch cart technically, but yeah, just high ground, high ground, high ground. Say that all game. Take the high ground. Unlucky you missed the stun there.
Well now.
Might have been able to fan the hammer into Reinhardt there and secure the kill before he finished you off, but
The payload has reached the objective.
you hear tire, don't. Uh-oh. When you hear tire like that, don't get caught spraying. You know, always look to shoot the tire. Sorry, my screen alt-tabbed there. I can watch that again.
The payload has
So you hear tire now, you should be... Right. So you shouldn't be spraying punching there. You hear tire, you should be looking to shoot it. You can two-tap the tire. So right there, you know, I think tire probably dropped down on Reinhardt from here, so you probably would not have had time to shoot the tire before it killed your Reinhardt. But there will be many cases where you have the opportunity to shoot tire before it kills a member of your team. You know, as Mcree, as Ash, you guys are good people to shoot the tire, because again, you double tap it, it's dead. Reinhardt can one fire strike it if he reacts quick enough. You know, it's just another one of those ultimates that you can shut down with relative ease as Mcree. You got the res off. So another thing too is, you know, you have Zarya ult coming online. So what I would be doing too is asking Zarya to combo ultimates. So, yeah, Grav Blade is huge, but you don't have Blade, right? So Grav High Noon is also a very good ult combo. So I would be looking to take high ground and just tell your Zarya to not waste Grav, to hold Grav until you have high ground, until you're ready, and coordinate that. Good kill on the Junkrat. Zarya solo grab a Reaper that didn't Wraith form out of it? What? So she solo grabbed. Reaper Wraith formed and just stayed there? I guess she got Baby Diva too, but... So first off, what kind of grab is this? Why would you grab a Baby Diva? Because Reaper can Wraith form out of it. And second, what is Reaper doing? Why did Reaper Wraith form and just stand there? Why is he not, like, backing away from it? What is going on? Alright. Okay. High ground, man. High ground, high ground, high ground, high ground, high ground, high ground. Good stun on the road. Reinhardt. Good. Nice stun on the Moira. Nice kill on the Moira. Junkrat to your right. Your Reinhardt's YOLO charging again. Although that wasn't a terrible charge. Actually, it wasn't bad. Good kill with the high noon. Again, high ground, man. High ground, high ground. High ground, my man. High ground.
Score.
I understand that it is overtime and you don't want to C9 from the cart, but you as Mcree are just such a big threat on high ground. It is okay for Mcree to step off cart to go take high ground. It really is. Yeah. That's alright though.
I will protect the innocent. Clearing the area. System check initiated. Green across the board. I'm ready for action.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds. Is it cold in here? 5.
Okay. See your defending position. That looks cool. Alright. So you've got Ryan Zarya now. Ryan, don't need to be holding on cart, buddy. You don't need to stop it right there. The corner, and at this point, you need to be in team chat and telling your Ryan to stop holding so far forward. It's just he's gonna die. I mean, you saw what happened when the enemy team was holding right here. You guys just walked all over them, right? Because you respawn so close. Even if they do get kills, you just keep on respawning. And yeah, keep on fighting, right? Hold corner, high ground, hold somewhere else. So now that you're playing Pharah, Mercy should definitely be pocketing you. Again, Pharmacy, a very, very terrifying uh, combo, terrifying hero, especially at the lower ranks. I'm not a fan of where you're starting. I guess you can jump up and kind of this roof as cover. Basically, as Pharah, what you want is you want to be playing around cover, right? Same as any other hero. So it's a little tougher here with when you're trying to go vertical cover, but basically you want to be poking up like this, shoot, down, up, down, up, down, right? Always have something that you can hide behind. It's a little better when you have something that's horizontal like this, so you can peek left and right and still maintain your height. So I would be playing kind of around here as well. You're a little harder to hit around here, but we'll see what happens.
2, 1. Attackers incoming.
So this is no bueno. I don't like this.
Double kill.
You got a couple of kills, but you are in a very bad position here. Like you don't have a Mercy pocket. Mercy is dead. You are flying out in the open. You have no cover whatsoever. They're just going to respawn. The smart soldier is going to come up here, and he can actually shoot you from the safety of his spawn. You can't hit him. You can't do damage to him, right? So you are in a terrible, terrible spot. And in higher ranks, you are going to be punished for this kind of positioning. Don't do this. Find cover. Play behind cover. Right, this is very aggressive. So there, you had shift off cooldown, and you just decided to use your jets to get up there, and you wasted all your fuel. So use jump, right? Get up to your height, and then um, just maintain your height with your jets, right? Don't waste your fuel trying to get up to whatever height you're at, because now you have no fuel. You're going to drop back down to the ground, and Farah is much less of a threat on the ground than she is in the air. Okay, yeah, your fuel management could use a little bit of work. You're just a little heavy on the fuel, that's all. Good job dropping for cover, go and get a health pack, I like it.
System
I would have gone for Mega. That was a good try using Concussion Mine to avoid the sightlines there. That was smart.
Clearing the area.
I like that you're using Concussion Mine to move yourself around the map. Good try on the Mcree. Again, you are now out in the open. They have a Mcree. You are in a bad spot. Do not be here. Don't be up this high, right? As Farah, yes, you want to be up in the air, but you don't need to be touching the ceiling. You want to be in a position where you have cover, right? So play around here. You know the Mcree's underneath. Mcree can't see you. Even if he does, he does poke out and shoot you, like he has a bad angle to try ahead. So you can back up around this corner and use your splash damage to kill him before you, right? Or, if you want to play up here, like you can just stand here, right? You don't even need to be up in the air. You can stand here, shoot from around this cover here, right? And again, you are protected from the tree. If he wants to shoot you, has to stand out in the open. You are in a bad spot. Always play around cover. And always respect the enemy DPS, especially because they are running Mercy, right? So a smart Mercy is going to be pocketing their Mcree, try and counter you. So always respect the enemy DPS, especially when they have a Mercy. Bad spot, bad spot, bad spot. So your targeting is kind of all over the place, so you're not too sure who to shoot. Find a target, stick with it, focus on that target. Generally picking a healer is good. So Mercy, if she's on the ground, is a good target. Moira is a little harder to hit because she has Fade. She can get away from you. McCree's a good target because he can't really get away from you. In this case, their ball would be another good target because their ball's low on health. But just find a target, stick with it. You're kind of just shooting all over the place, doing little bits of damage. And sure, you're building your ult, but if you don't secure that kill, you're just building enemy support. Alright. So now you have Barrage, they have a hit scan, you have Grav. Obvious combo is Grav Barrage, but if they're smart, they're going to be prepared for that. And Mcree is going to have his flashbang available, so this is one of those times where you want to be in a position just a little bit early on the concussion line, but this is one of those situations where it's okay to be up a little bit higher, so you're out of range of McCree's flash when you do ult. Good barrage. And so I like that. You recognize their McCree was like under bridge when he ulted, so you were able to get to safety. Because the McCree was an ult, he was not able to defend you. You barraged, you got both their supports. Good barrage, good positioning there. Or good reaction, I should say. Your positioning is still not good. You're still out in the open. Honestly, at this point, what I would be doing is I'd be down here on this. You can shoot. You could just stand here and rain hell from down above, right? And you are difficult to hit. You have cover. You have access to health packs. You your concussion mine to blast yourself back to your team. Up here, you are right in Mcree's sight lines. You are right in their entire team's sight lines, really. You are not playing around cover as Farah, and you need to be playing around cover. Right, in higher ranks, you will be punished for this. Like, their Mcrees are not going to miss shots, and you're just going to get deleted. Hey, Mercy came to pocket you. And then she left you. She didn't even heal you up to full health. What the hell, Mercy? What the hell? Yep, so that was just bad positioning on your part, and you got punished for it, finally. So, what you could have done is, they have a Mcree, right? They switched to Ash, but, you could have stayed here, like, and just stood here, fired down, and as soon as Ash started to push, backed up around, could have concussion mined yourself over here. But you blasted up right into the open here, right? You were standing up here, there was no cover. The only cover, I guess, was right here, but, most of the enemy up and take high ground as their Ash did. So that was just positioning on your part.
I will not fail again.
You have failed your team. 10 seconds.
Ask your Mercy to come with you. What is your Mercy doing? I guess you have a brig now, so still. But this is good. I like this, right? You're shooting into a small hallway. This is less good. Now leaving safety, but at least you're kind of playing around cover. You're kind of using the wall to your right, but you're trying to play aggressive with your team, which is fine. Kill that Moira. That was a good prediction there. Moira faded, and you thought she was going to come forward because it is overtime. So it was a good try there. Again, just poor positioning. You were flying out in the open. It's okay to retreat. When your team's dying, you don't need to be constantly contesting cart. You only just need to stop them before the end. So, okay, so right now you guys are trickling in, right? What the enemy team needs to do is push it to here. You just need to stop them before that. It's overtime, which means that you need to win one fight, right? You don't even need to win the fight. You just need to push them off cart. So, basically, what you should be doing with your team now is you should be regrouping, right? Trickling in like this, you're taking these fights 2v6, 4v6, right? And you're trickling in. Just stop and wait for your team. Wait till you group up as 6 and fight 6v6, right? Because all 6 of them are on cart, so you cannot win that fight unless there are 6 of you, right? When there's 6 of them, and there's only 4 of you, you can't win that fight. It's a numbers game, right? Whoever has more people has a significant advantage in the team fight. Alright, going forward, I'm going to say that I haven't had a lot of playtime as Echo, so I'm going to be a little bit less help here. I know how she plays, but I'm not going to be as picky, I guess.
I'm under attack.
She has range, use her sticky bombs. Shoot at something. Don't use your sticky bombs into a shield. Okay, this is good. So, I don't have a lot of playtime as Echo, but Echo's playstyle is similar to that of Genji, right? So you want to get into their backline, you want to use ability, you want to use your combo, your sticky bomb, primary fire, and your beam combo. So right now, their monkey's at about half health. I mean, they're more resulting, but you could use your sticky bombs and your beam on monkey and probably secure that kill because that is a lot of burst damage. Remember, your beam does 200 damage per second if their health is below half. Don't worry about the shield. Shoot the people. Alright. No, the echo play was kind of just panic.
Score
But
6-6.
Prayer is
Switching
okay. You
sides.
just need to play safer. Play around cover. You know whatever hero you are playing, always play around cover, right? Always, always, always. It's,
Justice ain't gonna dispense itself.
yeah, your Mercy's giving me a headache. Like, I'm a support main, and in the height of Mercy's power, I played a lot of Mercy.
Greetings.
Even now, I still like playing
Commence
Mercy. I know I'm
settlements.
one of those people, but
I'm
people
not
say that Mercy is
afraid.
a little bit weak right now. I still think she can
Not
give
always.
a lot of value to your team, but that value is coming from damage boosting a
I'm not
DPS of some kind.
afraid.
So Mcree is a good option, Ashe is a good option, Pharah is a good option, especially when you have a main healer like Moira. Her primary focus should not be healing tanks, right? It should be enabling her DPS.
Escort the payload.
Come on. Don't stand on the dynamite. I know it looks like you tried to back up there, but just don't do that. Wait for your team. Ask for healing. Yep. High ground, man. Go get high ground. Nice stun on the Mercy. Nice kill on the Mercy. Good job. You're gonna play Brawl, play with your Reinhardt. Fan the hammer. Fan the hammer, man. Stun, fan the hammer. Good kill on the ball. Or, oh, you guys didn't get the kill. Ball, dude. The ball, the ball, the ball, the ball. What are you doing? So, you stunned the ball, and he managed to escape you guys, but the ball went left, right? So if I was this ball, I'd be going in for this health pack. So you know the ball is like 1 health, just turn and look, right? You see he's not here for the health pack, which means he's going up and around, right? So look up, look to your left, kill this ball, right? Secure that kill. He's low health. You are a direct counter to pretty much any dive hero, like ball. Focus that kill, get that kill. Right, help your Reinhardt.
You have failed your team.
Or just AFK there or something. Stun, fan the hammer, man, especially into a ball. Stun, fan the hammer, roll, fan the hammer, and you can kill a ball, right? You just do so much damage.
This will heal you.
Just AFK, or what's going on here? We're kind of just standing on cart there, looking up or something. One thing, don't stand on cart, 'cause that just makes you an easy target. Stand behind cart, off to the side of cart, right? Use the cart as cover, kind of like you're doing here. Never just stand on top of it. It's Yeah, at that point you could have been pushing up around corner, looking for these shots around Ash or uh, something. Something. Don't just stand on cart looking up in the air. You can stun Bob. It's an okay use of stun. Stun Bob, stun Bob, stun Bob. Stun fan the hammer into Bob. You need to kill Bob as quickly as you can. I like that you're trying to get high ground, but that's not the high ground you want to get. Right, you're already pushing the cart past that point. There you go. Yes. High ground, yes, yes. Good. Good high noon, you zoned him out.
I knew
Good try on the Tracer. With the Tracer, that's Tracer's one of those ones where it's okay to just get the headshot stun. Headshot kills her. You know, you kind of went sideways with your fan the hammer instead of vertically, so it's just you missed too many shots there to secure the kill. But right idea. Good pressure on the Tracer though.
get into position.
Payload secure. Move out.
Reinhardt's just wasting his shield. Zarya wasted grab because there's no one there to help her. Reaper has ultimate. Or he should. You should know that he has ult. Good stun. Perfect. Nice little punch at the end there too. That was good. So another little thing there. If you ever get stuck, just stand still. Don't move. Let your team back away from you. Right? I mean, you didn't get stuck there, but that's one of those things that, you know, I see a lot of teams or a lot of low-level players try and do is they get stuck and they try to roll away from their team. And what happens is sometimes somebody moves in the same direction they do. Let your teammates move away from you. Just stand still. Right? You're pretty much dead anyway. So accept it. Go get high ground now. Go get high ground. Get high ground. Fan the hammer into that. You had the chance to kill that Moira. Good kill on the Mercy.
Failed your team. Get into position. Round 5 complete. Score 9-6. Switching sides.
Junkertown, man. This map is something else. 9-6. Basically the reasons that you guys have pushed it twice this far is the defending team, you guys and the enemy team, have never once just waited, regrouped, and engaged a 6. Like, you've managed to get these staggers, and the defending team just keeps on staggering in and taking these odd man fights that they should not be taking. You guys probably could have held, the enemy team probably could have held points if they just decided to stop trickling and engage as a team. High ground, man. Stay on high ground. Reinhardt, why are you spawn camping? Good kill on the Moira. Here, Reaper behind. So you guys are being very aggressive here with your hold. It seems to be working, but you know, reality, you guys shouldn't be holding here. Get that Moira. Lucky kill on the Moira. Looks like you were aiming for the turret there. Moira just kind of walked in front of you. Shove killing the turret. Wasted flash there. Okay. So that was a hell of a game. The biggest things, you need to play around cover more. You need to take the high ground when you always take the high ground. As Pharah, you play way out in the open too much, right? Find some kind of cover that you can hover behind. You don't need to be all the way up touching the sky ceiling, or what you call it. It's okay just to be up on like high ground level. It's okay to be standing on high ground as Pharah. Always play around cover, like you're standing out in the open as Pharah. And at higher levels, you're gonna be punished so hard for it. You're not gonna get any value. Especially when playing into an enemy hit scan. As Sombra, make sure your hack targets are targets that your team can focus, right? Help your team. Don't just look for those assassination kills. Um, yeah, those are the big things, man. Just little positioning things. Find the high ground and play around cover. A little bit of target priority, but yeah, if you start taking the high ground and you start focusing on playing around cover a little bit more, you're going to be a much bigger threat. You're going to be able to do so much more to be have. You're going to have much greater impact on your games. So, well done.